This is the final webinar session on Jin Shin Jyustu with Colleen. In case this is your first webinar, I'm Lauren Bino, and I'm a program manager and health educator here at Cancer Pathways. So I just want to start today's session like the prior to and provide a short background on Jin Shin Jyustu. Jin Shin Jyustu is an ancient Japanese healing art that uses gentle touch to harmonize the body physically, mentally, and emotionally. So our presenter, Colleen, is a Jin Shin Jyustu practitioner with over 20 years of experience, as well as a Reiki master and author. So to enhance today's session, we're going to be using that PDF attachment called JSJ Self-Help Guide, the booklet that Colleen has sent to you. We'll be referring to it throughout the webinar. Please feel free to come off mute if you have any questions, or you can enter them into the chat box. And we will also be recording today's session if you can't stay the entire time or if you want to refer back to it. So today, Colleen will be talking about opposite fingers and toes, and will provide you with a roadmap for how you can understand the rest of the booklet and utilize Jin Shin techniques in your life. She'll also provide you with a few additional resources that you can refer back to. I am now going to turn it over to Colleen.
Great. Welcome, everybody, for coming today. So I've been talking a lot about the lymph nodes. So this is a map of the lymph nodes. So I've been telling you how if you just hold your neck, it will really help to open up the lymph nodes there, under the arms, and then down right at the groin where the legs and the torso connect. Those are like 3 different points that are really good to hold to open up and keep that area clean. And so the groin area is the 15s, which you'll see as you're going through the book. And this is the safety energy lock 12. And under the arms is the 26. And a lot of people who have issues with breast cancer have issues with their lymph nodes. And so I think, now that we're heading into the winter, it's really good for us to keep these clear. So I just wanted to be sure and show you that map of where the lymph nodes are. So I'd like to start with just holding our fingers, and I'm going to tell you some stories of people who have experienced cancer and Jin Shin Jyustu together. So we're going to start with just gently holding the thumb. And I listened to a man yesterday, and he said that he held his thumb for an hour a day. And during that process, he was able to help himself with his migraines and with kidney stones. And so, like I've said before, a lot of these, it seems very simple, but you can do it when you're the passenger in a car, or watching TV, or just sitting around. I've even figured out ways to hold my fingers while I'm reading. So, after a while, you can learn different ways to do it. Okay, so we're holding our thumbs. And there was a woman, Linda, who I worked with her when she was in the hospital. And she was undergoing a lot of experimental cancer treatments. And for her, Jin Shin Jyustu really helped her get some sleep. She hadn't been able to sleep for quite a while. And so after I gave her session, she kind of fell asleep during the session, and I just tiptoed out, and it gave her that relaxation and the renewal. A woman named Christine, she was going through her 2nd bone marrow transplant. And she found that it really helped her to overcome the side effects that can be involved with cancer treatments. And she said that her doctors didn't understand why she was doing so well. And she said they didn't understand I had the secret Jin Shin Jyustu on my side. Okay, let's switch to our index finger. And index finger has to do with the emotion fear and bladder and kidneys. And another woman, she was having neuropathy from her treatments. and her fingers actually turned black. And when she got opposite fingers and toes treatment, it was able to bring circulation back into those extremities and help ease what she was going through and to take away the blackness that had occurred in her hands. And we'll hold our middle finger. And I want to tell you, yesterday, I had a lot of work to do. And I was like maybe 2-3 hours away from being done. And I was like exhausted. I mean, I just wanted to lay on the floor, but I couldn't. And so I held my middle finger and did deep breathing. And it really gave me a great jumpstart so that I was able to have more energy. And I only did it for maybe 20 breaths. So sometimes you can get a quick result. So another woman, I didn't work with her personally, but I heard about her. She was having a bone marrow transplant and her breast cancer had metastasized. And she was having an issue with her red and white blood cells. And through Jin Shin Jyustu, she was able to get that situation worked out. And we'll do our ring finger. And the ring finger has to do with the lungs and the whole upper breast area. So again, if anybody is undergoing breast cancer, this is good. It also will help with the neck area. So another person reported that with Jin Shin, they were able to have more energy, that they would kind of walk into the session they were receiving and kind of drained, and then they were able to walk out and have more energy and even have an appetite. So it can also help with appetites. And the last one, the little finger, has to do with the heart and small intestine. One of the other ways that a woman reported having positive effects with Jin Shin Jyustu is calming her nerves and helping to manage pain. And that's something that they have done research with. And they have found that calming anxiety, calming nerves, people needing less pain relief through medicine, that those are 3 ways that Jin Shin Jyustu can really help people who are experiencing. On page 12, it talks about opposite fingers and toes. This is a treatment that is often done for people. I'll tell you how you can do it for yourself also, but it's more often done for somebody, and it's one of the ones that can easily be done in the hospital. So it's a very positive one for that. So you will see on your page, it just has the hands and the toes. So this particular slide was created by Kelly Mount, and it shows how the red star of the little finger is connected to the red star of the big toe. So a person would be laying on a table or in a chair, and you would hold their big thumb, like their big left thumb, and their opposite little toe. So you'll be reaching across their body. Okay. And then you would move to the index finger and the opposite ring toe. And this is when you really need to like try out on a person or a stuffed animal or something to get that sense of of how it's done. So the way you could start is by holding the palm to the arch of the foot. And that helps with regenerating. It helps with fatigue if you're feeling run down. It can help with eye strain and abdominal cramping. So you can do that for yourself or for someone else. And again, you would hold it for 1 to 2 minutes. You can hold it longer if you want to. The important thing is that it's comfortable for you and for the person if you're doing it for someone else. But if you feel cramped, then the energy can't be flowing through. Let's see. You could also have, like, if one person is on one side of the bed and another person is on the other, instead of reaching across, you can have one person holding the hands and one person holding the toes. So that's another way to do it. When you're doing it for yourself, and if you can't, reach your toes, you can hold your 15s, which are right where the leg, right in the groin part of your body. And so you would, so let's say you hold your left 15, and then you'd hold with your right hand, you'd put your thumb over the little finger, thumb over the ring, the middle, the index, and then like this would be how you would do the thumb. Okay. And if I'm just doing it quickly, you do it, for 1 to 2 minutes. And then you would switch and put your right hand on the groin area and do the fingers. The other thing you can do is you can use your foot, one foot on top of the other foot. There was a teacher who was talking just the other day, and she said that she has monkey toes, and she can kind of wrap, her right foot around each toe. So if you can do that, you can then use the thumb over the ring, over the nails of the hand one at a time, and go through the toes, holding them with your foot. Or you can just place one foot on top of the other foot. But one of the benefits of this is instead of holding your thumb and your index, and you're getting kind of like a 2-for-1. So you're getting your thumb and the little finger. So you're getting your stomach, your spleen, issues that have to do with worry. You're getting your heart, your small intestines, anything that has to do with pretense or not being who you truly are. It helps with the shoulders and the lungs, the muscles, reproductive system. It helps with if you're feeling insecure about something. So this is a really powerful one. And like I said, it's often done in the hospital. One of the things that I did to help create a roadmap for everybody, because we went through where the points are, but I don't know about for you, but for me, I didn't remember them the first time it was told to me. So on my website, I have the maps, which you have in your book, but I've also written out where the point is, just in case, like the 24 is in kind of an odd place on the foot. It's between the little toe and the ring toe, but just up a little bit. And so that's hard to tell from the picture. So I wrote out where the points are on the body. What else I do? I put it in the Jin Shin Jyustu official YouTube channel so that you can see different short videos. They're usually about half an hour, and most of them say safety energy lock 25 or hand mudras or fingers or things like that. So if you're looking for something specific, you can find it that way. There are some fabulous books, and I listed those there. One has great photographs that show where to put your hands, and the other one has very good background information about Jin Shin Jyustu, kind of like the philosophy. So you have those resources there. And my website is flowingstillness.net. And I think you have all the clues you'll need. That was what I was working towards. Okay. So if we turn the page, so we have the chemotherapy on page 13. And the first suggestion they make is to do the main central vertical, which we did last week. And basically you're putting your right hand on top of your head and you're going down different rotations. So this helps with chemotherapy. And with Jin Shin Jyustu, if you can only have time to do one, like this one piece of it, that gives it the start that it needs, and it will do the rest of the flow itself. So this is, but at the same time, you may find, I know I found for myself, that there's great power in going through each step, because sometimes it just feels like there's congestion in a certain spot. And I feel by holding it and giving that attention there, that I can feel it kind of releasing. So, okay. Number 3 is really a good one. Okay, so you put one hand on your shoulder, and the same side, you put your hand in the groin area on the same side, and that's the 15. The 15 is the joy and happiness button, that one right in the groin. And this one here is called the janitor. And also the one in the groin, the 15, is also really good for the immune system. I don't know if you remember that, the lymph node picture I showed you, but there are a lot of lymph nodes right there. And this is something that if you were sitting in a doctor's office, you could do it and people wouldn't look at you in an odd way. It's a really good one to do before surgery to help boost your immune system. And this is right up in the neck area where the other collection of lymph nodes is. And then you can switch and do the other side. And you might notice that one side is tighter than the other. And if it's hard to have your hand up on the top here, some people have a hard time reaching. Right at the bottom of your rib is the 14s, and that's a bridge you can always go to if something is uncomfortable to hold. So if you can't hold up on the shoulder, you can hold at the tip of your ribs and in the groin. Because you should always be comfortable. And then remember to breathe. Breath is very important. Palming the calves, that means you put both hands on the back of your calves or have somebody do that for you. We talked about this one in one of the other classes. This is really good for, chemotherapy, but it's also really good if you've had radiation. or if you've had a sunburn. It's good also for leg cramps, if you're having leg cramps. Okay, we're going to skip the 13 flow. I'm going to let you do that one at home. And we'll go to fatigue. Okay. So the first one, if you needed to support your kidney function, which in many martial arts, in Tai Chi and Qigong, the kidneys are like the key organ. They're kind of like the energy center. And so keeping them in good working order is really important. So as we've said before, you can hold your ring finger and that will help your kidneys. You can also put your right hand on the pubic bone and the left hand on the right little toe. Now again, reaching down might not be easy, so you can have one hand on your pubic bone and one hand on the tip of your rib on the front. That would be the 14. Another substitute you could do is having one hand on the pubic bone and one hand on the coccyx, because that's another step in the pattern of the kidney function energy flow. To support liver, you put your hand on the left 4 and the other side 22. And the 4, it can really help with headaches. It helps in connecting with the spirit source. The 22, all of the flows go through the 22s. So this is called like the train station. And sometimes you might find when you touch an area that it's more sensitive than other areas. And that just means that it needs a little energy, a little holding. So as you've noticed, sometimes you'll be on the same side and sometimes you'll be on opposite sides. And the flow of energy is that oval that's going with the breath up and over the head. But we also need to keep the side flows clear. And so this helps with the meridian, the diagonal aspect when you're in opposite sides. And below that is holding your left thumb with your right hand. And then your ring finger. I sometimes hold them both together. My thumb and another finger. I'll just hold them at the same time. But this is something you could do for lifting up your spirits. Page 17 is for lymphoma. And the first one is you have your hand, one hand on, so your elbow is here and just a handstand away. This would be called the high 19. And then with the other hand, go to the inside of the knee and then up a couple of inches, and that's called the high 1. And this is good for, gosh, it's good for so many things. This has to do with responsibility, 19 does, and empowerment and feeling in authority. And the 1 is the prime mover. I talked to you before about, I think of it as kind of like you're pumping water. It gets the system going. The next one, you're going to be holding this area, where the same one that you do for the 36 breaths. And then you put pat of your thumb over the nail of your ring finger. This part right here, where you have the pat of your thumb over the ring fingernail, has to do, it's a breathing mudra. I think I talked about it the first class. I've had times where I was going up hills and my breath was very laborious. And I did this and it really helped my breathing and I was able to make it up the hill. This helps with mental bondage, fatigue. Oftentimes you see kids sitting like this, and it's actually helping them to absorb, to feel less fatigue, to clear their minds. This is also good for digestion, the Jyutsu. And again, the 22 is where everything's going through. It's kind of like the hub, the railroad station. If you have side effects where it's hard to take in a full breath, again, the pad of the thumb over the ring finger is very powerful. And what they're suggesting here is also good. You have your hand on the 11, and then you sit on your other hand. So you're holding the top of the shoulder and your sits bone. And this is another one that it's good for the lungs. It's also good for the legs. Yeah. So this one helps clear the ascending when you're bringing in the air. So it's helping clear the back area. And so if you wanted to clear the back and the front, you could do holding the shoulder and the sits bone, and then just keeping this hand on the shoulder and moving the other hand to the groin. And then you're clearing out the exhale and the inhale. And some people believe that you should clear out the shoulder and the groin, the front part first, because through the exhale, then you are allowing a bigger inhale. So if you've cleared out everything going down the body, it'll be easier for your body to fill up. But one of the wonderful things about Jin Shin is that however you do it, it will work. And we had some teachers giving classes, and they talked about how, we get all confused. Oh, for my heart, am I supposed to hold my thumb or my middle finger or what? And they said, it doesn't matter because, the knees are connected to the hip bone. The hip bone's connected to, we're all connected. And so it might take a little bit longer for the energy to get where you specifically want it to be. But the energy is very intelligent. It will get there. It knows the pathways. It knows the meridians. And so whatever you do, it's going to help you. Whether it's holding a finger or doing, the main central, which has, a few different steps, or doing one of these where it's just one hold, it's all going to help. Okay. If you're having issues with nausea, this is a really good hold. And here on the other side of the wrist. And one of the things they say in Jin Shin Jyustu is if you're in the neighborhood, you might as well visit. And so you could hold both of them together. And this is something that you can do, easily with, it's sitting in your lap. I've mentioned before that this part, the 17 on the little finger side, is really good if you're feeling nervous. So it's something that might be good, in a doctor's office, or anytime that you're feeling overwhelmed with what you're dealing with or going through. Okay, heartburn, just holding the center of your chest. Oops. And you can have one hand, the center of your chest, and one hand at the center of the 14s, which is the tip of the rib. And you just go to the center, so you're having one hand on each spot. And one thing you might notice as you start playing around with this is that you might find that your hands just naturally go to an area when you're sitting. And one thing I think is kind of interesting, fun to do is to kind of figure out, well, first just to hold that spot, because your body has an intelligence. And if that's where it's going, then that's where it could use some attention. And the other thing is to see what that means, So again, at the one, the inside of the knee, what might that mean? So I've mentioned it means prime mover. Oftentimes people say anything associated with the knee has to do with moving forward. So am I having trouble moving forward? If you're interested in things like numerology, you can look up what does one mean in numerology. In the tarot, it's the magician. What would that mean? So there are ways you can really go down the rabbit hole and explore. Or you can just say, I feel like holding the inside of my knee, so that's what I'll do. But wherever you want to take it is fine. So for constipation and diarrhea, one hand on the coccyx and one hand on the outside of the knee, which is called the 8. And the 8 in Jin Shin Jyustu is also called magic. So it's always good to have a little magic in your life. And for pain, the left hand would go on the outside of the left ankle, and the right hand goes on the inside of the ankle. So that might be one that you might want somebody to do for you, but that is pain relief for any kind of pain that you're having. And in Jin Shin Jyustu, one of the beliefs is as above, so below. So if I have a headache, someone might work on my head. They might hold the force. I might hold my force, or I might hold my toes. And so, because we're wanting the energy to flow, and if it's not flowing, it could be because it's stuck in the head, and that's why it's not moving and why the pressure is building up. Or it could be that it's stuck in the toe, and that's why things are not moving and there's congestion. And so we want to keep that flow open down the front and up the back. I think simple is best. That if, for myself, I'll say, sometimes, I'll say, I'm going to do this whole series, and I commit to doing, I'm going to do this. And then it just overwhelms me, and I don't do anything.
Yes.
And it's better to do something than nothing. And so if each finger has 14,400 pathways, and you add those up and you put it together and you have the center palms, you're getting it all. And then just remembering that breath going down the front and up the back. and just sitting, a couple of moments and, minutes or, however long you have. That's what I would say. I would say start simple, simple. And the other fabulous thing about starting simple is, I think it was Lisa who had to leave. She said she was holding her thumb and she could feel it. So if you've actually had an experience where you do something and you feel it, you're going to be more inclined to do something else. And so just this. And then if you notice, oh, I was feeling really agitated and I did this and I felt a calmness, or I felt clarity in my thinking, then, oh, well, that worked. I wonder what else, and you could, close your eyes and open up the book and point to something and say, okay, I'll try that.
All right.
And a lot of the ones that are here are just, one step. And so if you just kind of have that in your toolkit of, oh, I have a moment and I said I would try, holding my shoulder and my groin. Yeah.
Yes, thank you all for joining today. And I just want to give a big thank you to Colleen for leading these 3 wonderful sessions. I hope you all enjoyed learning about Jin Shin Jyustu and came away with some additional techniques that you can integrate into your life. I hope you all have a great day.